Don't run 100 billion company.
This is the issue, right? Can Singaporeans afford to slow down without hurting the economy? How to create a less stressful society without sacrificing excellence and achievement? Why not? So this is what we call a set of tension, a set of values that pull you aside. One is economic success and achievement. One is less stressful society. Seemingly impossible, yet if you think carefully, there is food for thought, for a sense of balance. And guess what? Soon after this was 1996, soon after this, the then Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong came out with Singapore 21. I was preparing for this talk, I went to look at Singapore 21. I don't know what happened to it. 6,000 people were interviewed in Singapore. And 5 committees were formed. And guess what? One of the committee exactly was about how to be less stressful without losing drive. Lee Kuan Yew, tough, rugged society. Goh Chok Tong, gracious society. Lee Hsien Loong, inclusive society. But without the baptism of fire in the last GE, you will never be inclusive.
No transformation.
Finally, it's really going to be inclusive. And whether really inclusive or not, 2016 we will know.
Yeah.
Whether really inclusive or not, we will cast our vote in 2016.
Right.
So this is a fantastic report. But what happened to it? You see, rapid success has come with a cost, stress. Rare is a Singaporean who is free from stress. And we keep running, sometimes we keep running on the spot without forward movement, without advancement. And what we call beyond parental control, BPC. It's getting from bad to worse. What is BPC? BPC is an instrument that the parents and the state discuss, MCYS in particular, and then decide that we have to put your boy in a home, a boy's home or a girl's home. Every Friday between 2 and 5, the Children's Society will run family sessions. So any parent who has a child below 16 who cannot be controlled anymore, they will bring the child to subordinate court under this Children's Society counseling room. And then you go in, you say, oh, I can't control my son anymore. Normally, they'll start with counseling, a few weeks of counseling. And if counseling still fails, they will say, let's have a BPC. This is a legal instrument. The child has no choice. And the statistics shows that it has gone up. Okay, according to a survey of 14 countries, we are the world's unhappiest worker. Because simply, there's no sense of ownership, there's no sense of being in control, and so many things are unpredictable. And happiness is not just about economics. It's not just about, not above. It's not just about economics. GDP not the sole measure of happiness. Okay? And I did my own little research, and the happiest nations in the world, this is based on the happiest nations in the world. And Denmark is the happiest, followed by Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Netherlands. Top 5 from Europe. Singapore is 81st in this table. 81st out of 100 over 81st. And this is scored according to percentage thriving. In other words, 82% of Danish people are thriving. Alright? And only 17% struggling. And only 1% suffering. You add up these three, it's equal to 100%. Singapore, 6% suffering, 75% struggling. Only 19%, about 1/5, above everything. That means every 5 of us here, one of us is thriving, really above the thing. 3/4 struggling. Those are thriving can come and practice kind of. What is the number to the left?
Then you give more.
The number to the left indicates the degree of democracy. You can see Denmark is It's number 3, most democratic. Let me show you the next one. In terms of democracy, this is from the Economist Intelligence Unit. Full democracy is 10 points. 0 is no democracy. Guess which country? North Korea. So North Korea is 0. Alright? And then flawed democracy is 53. 53 in the world is flawed democracy. Between 6 and 8, between 8 and 10 is full democracy, of which there are 26 countries in the world. And hybrid regime, 33 countries in the world, between 6 and 8. Wrong, between 4 and 6. We belong to hybrid regimes. Partially flawed and partially not flawed. And then 0 to 4 is authoritarian regimes. 0 is North Korea. And the higher the score, the more democratic you are. And now you go back to the earlier chart. Right? So those nations who are happy, they tend to be more democratic. Look at Norway, the most democratic country in the world is 1 upon 3. Alright? And then Denmark, the happiest nation in the world, number 3 in terms of democracy. And I did a little quiet search. All the top 4 have got proportional representation. That means GC and I will be in parliament. Because of proportional representation. And I may be making this speech in parliament already. Proportional representation. Not like us, we have 39% or 40%. And we are still looking at the 60%. We are still looking at the 60%. And we know the 60% are not totally, genuinely pro-PAP. I can tell you the 40% are pro-opposition. Don't look at feelings. Don't look at statistics. Don't look at numbers. They look at facts. We look at feelings. And the two must complement one another. If you are too factual, wow, you have no feeling. If you have too much feeling, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. People think you're too emotional. Okay, let's move on. There you are. This is just to summarize. Norway is the most democratic nation, 3rd happiest. Denmark, 3rd democratic, happiest nation in the world. Sweden, 4-4, equal. Alright? New Zealand, almost the same. Singapore, 82, most democratic, hybrid regime. We score 5.89. Norway is 9.8. And in terms of our happiness, it's 81. What about Iceland? I think too cold to be happy. They're damn democratic, but they're too cold to be happy. But still 23, okay? Okay, let's move on. Straits Times, 30th May, came out with this editorial, almost like saying, hey, don't be too quick, we're not ranked very high. But let's have doubts about what kind of science is this. This is touchy-feely science. Just because we are ranked low, touchy-feely. But the newspaper forgot. On the same day, 30th May, there was another article that says happiness is an experience. Shopping does not buy you happiness, but a concert may. Because when you go to a concert, you feel it. You feel the happiness. Or you go to a massage, you go to a spa, you feel it. So the point is, it's a perception. Earlier editorials said you can't measure it. You can't measure. So why are you so excited about what you can't measure? But in life, sometimes what counts may not be countable. Please get it into your one-liner. What counts may not be countable. And then it goes on to talk about what I like this very much. Beware of the hedonic treadmill. Increases in material possession may well be accompanied by a decrease in happiness. Because you keep chasing for the happiness. This phenomenon is termed the hedonic treadmill. As possessions increase, to people's expectation, over time, people become less sensitized towards their possession and require even more new possession just to sustain the same level of happiness as before. And this is exactly how I felt during the last election. I remember it was Sembawang. This man came to me with his family. His family was lagging behind. He came to me, started crying. And he said to me, forget about grow and share. Forget about upgrading. Forget about 5-year plan. I am fed up. Wow. Sounds like this. I'm fed up. Cannot entice me anymore. I'm going to vote you into parliament. I want you all to speak up for me. Wow. then started crying, you know. Then I began to understand. And that was how I decided, oh, this is like what I have been saying from day one of my rally. It's not about all these, it's about connection. It's about connecting the people. It's about listening to the people. That was my major message. Then I understand why. More possession does not mean more happiness. Remember the law of marginal utility we all do in economics. Economics prof, correct me if I'm wrong. The law of marginal utility, it doesn't mean the more you drink, the happier you are. There will be a third bottle, the law of diminishing return. The third or fourth bottle, you don't feel like drinking anymore. But the first one after a run, damn shook. Damn shook. So this is exactly the same. More money doesn't mean more happiness. Okay?
Especially 100 plus.
Okay. So, and this is Straits Times editorial in August 98. You all read for yourself. Society places a premium on knowledge and intelligence. The meritocratic ethos must continue, but intangible assets are the ones that count. Yeah? At the end of my talk, I will come back to the issue of value and belief. We all need to have clear value, clear belief, and we need to review our values and belief from time to time.